I am here today indeed to talk to you about the upcoming call for the postdoctoral fellowships. And what I will be covering today are, first and foremost, the structure and the setup of our fellowships. I will also say a few things about how to submit a proposal and what to avoid, and a little bit also about our evaluation process. I'll give you some information about Belgium in this PF action, and then there will be plenty of time at the end for Q&A. So without further ado, I think I will start with the MSCA in Horizon Europe. So you can see we have 5 distinct actions ranging from very early stage researchers to MSc and citizens to say, and what we are here to discuss today are the postdoctoral fellowships. You can see the total indicative budget for this framework program was 6.5 billion, a little bit more. So the MSCA are a very highly valued pillar of research in Horizon Europe. The budget for the postdoctoral fellowships this year is a little over 400 million euros. And this is split. The majority is going to go to European fellowships, and about 60 million is going to be set aside for global fellowships. Don't worry yet about the distinction between the two. I have a whole slide on explaining what those two mean. As already indicated kindly by Nadege, we do indeed have a delayed call opening. The opening is now foreseen for the 8th of May, but as also indicated already, the call is available on the portal in a forthcoming state, and we aim to put supporting documents there as soon as possible as well. The call deadline, however, is fixed and will not change. This is the 10th of September 2025. And I can be even more specific, it's 5 p.m. Brussels time. And that is a very, very strict deadline to keep in mind. So the 10th of September. And now you see here also what the purpose is of our fellowships. And this is the legal definition. So I'll read it out to you as is. The postdoctoral fellowships aim to enhance creative and innovative potential of researchers that have a PhD and who want to acquire new skills through training, international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral mobility. This is the official definition of our postdoctoral fellowships. Now, what does that mean concretely? And that I'll show you in the next slide, the objectives of a fellowship like this. We broke it down into 2 big chunks. So the first 3 are related to you as researchers. What do we want for researchers to happen? First and foremost, we would like to see the research and the transferable skills and competences to be increased, which in turn should lead to a better employability and much more interesting career prospects, not only in universities, but also in private sector. We also would like to see new mindsets, new approaches to research and innovation, because we aim to this international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary experience in our fellowships. And of course, we would like to see an enhanced networking with scientific peers, but also better communication capacities towards the general public so that they understand the research that is being funded and that you are doing. So these are related to you as researchers. We also have, of course, objectives that transcend that are more related to organizations. So the first being aligning working conditions for researchers, making sure that in Europe, these conditions are harmonized. We also want to increase the global attractiveness of participating organizations to make sure people want to come here and do their research. And of course, a stronger R&I capacity and output for the organizations, but also for Europe. So you see 2 big chunks, one for you as researchers and one at a global scale. Now, as promised, a bit of a distinction. We offer 2 options in the global fellowships, and if you were to choose to apply, you have to choose which one you want to do. The European fellowships are our standard fellowships, if you will. These are the most common, and it means that any researcher, whether European or from a third country, comes to a member state organization or an associated country organization for a period of 12 to 24 months, up to 2 years, to do their research in Europe. That's a European fellowship. The global fellowships, on the other hand, they are a bit more complex. This is set aside for people that have European or nationality or associated country nationality. So not everyone may participate in these. And the idea is that as a researcher, you would leave Europe for up to 2 years, go to a third country, for instance, Canada, Australia, anywhere you want to go, do your research there, and then come back to Europe again for 1 year, back to a member state or an associated country, university, or organization of your choosing. So this duration is up to 3 years because it has 2 phases of mobility as well, if you wish. So a bit more complex. And well, you have to see if this is feasible for you if you want to apply for something like this. And at the bottom, you see that both of them can be accompanied by a non-academic placement. This adds another 6 months at the end of the project, and it would allow you to get more experience, apply your research, do more research in the private sector at the end of the project. So both of them can be extended with another 6 months. Not mandatory, I have to state, this is optional. These are our 2 schemes that we have on offer. Of course, there are conditions to participate in our fellowships. So the organization, i.e. the host, should be an organization in a member state or associated country. Researchers, you should be in possession of a PhD at the call deadline or have had a successful defense prior to the call deadline. Nationality-wise, as I stated, for European fellowships, we accept any nationality. But for global fellowships, we only take nationals or long-term residents of member states or associated countries. Another critical aspect is the limitation to up to 8 years of research experience after the PhD. So once you've obtained your PhD, you have this window of 8 years to apply for one of our fellowships. Of course, there are exceptions that would extend the 8 years. So we're not talking 8 years in calendar years, we are talking 8 years of research experience. And then a fourth one, very, very critical one, is the mobility rule, because this is first and foremost a mobility scheme. We like researchers to move around internationally. What does that mean in practice? To not have resided or have had the main activity in the country where you want to do your fellowship for more than a year in the 3 years before the call deadline. This is a critical aspect as well. At the bottom of the slide, you also see there are some specific additional criteria if you want to do research in the field of Euratom. They're a bit more restrictive than the general fellowships. And if you are interested in that, we recommend that you look at the legal documentation on the portal. Few more conditions. The duration I've already covered, 12 to 24 months for a European fellowship and 24 to 36 months for a global fellowship divided in 2 phases. We do have more optional aspects that you can add in a proposal. First being secondments. You can take a secondment anywhere in the world in any sector for up to 1/3 of the duration of the fellowship. A bit different for European and global, as you can see. A secondment means that you are just sent by your current host organization to do some specific research or tasks elsewhere, or gain some knowledge and bring that back. That's a secondment. Another option, like I already mentioned, is this placement in the non-academic sector. And this can be up to 6 months at the end of the fellowship. Now, for both secondments and placements, you are very much recommended to take a look at the work program, the guide for applicant and official documents, because there are some restrictions on these options. Few more specifics that I need to highlight. Resubmissions. So if you have submitted a proposal last year and you intend to resubmit it this year, this can only happen if the score was above 70%. Otherwise, it is restricted for 1 year. The UK has been welcomed back to Horizon Europe and is fully able to host researchers, apply and receive funding as any other participant. I will skip for the non-academic placement because I have just talked about that already. A few more things, and I think this is of specific interest. What do you get as funding if you were to obtain a fellowship like this? So you can see this is also split in 2 parts. A part for the researcher, so sort of the salary, and a part about the what we call institutional unit contributions. This is going to the host organization. That's a fixed amount. It's 1,650 euros for the 2 categories combined. I'll spend a bit more time on the contributions for the researcher, though. You can see this is split in 3 main parts: living allowance, mobility allowance, and family allowance. The other 2 are very specific cases in case you are to fall ill or have some special needs. So those are very optional, and I will leave them to the side for now. Family allowance is 660 euros per month, and you are entitled to receive this if, for instance, you are married, you have children, you're in supporting other family members or dependents, I think it's what it's called, or you are in a relationship equivalent to marriage, you have the right to a family allowance. So this is either a yes or a no. It depends on your situation. What everyone is going to get is, of course, a mobility allowance. That's 710 euros per month. Because this is a mobility scheme, we offer some contribution to that as well. And the, of course, the largest part is the living allowance. This is the brutto amount is 5,990 euros. So subject to national deductions, taxes, and whatnot. And usually this amount is corrected with a so-called country correction coefficient. Now, for Belgium, this is 100%. So what you see here is what you will get as brutto amount. Again, pre-deductions, pre-taxes, and whatnot. So this is to have an idea about funding levels if you obtain a grant from us. I think this is the last slide about what the MSc and postdoctoral fellowships are about. So now I'll spend a few moments on a proposal, how to submit a proposal and what should be in it. So the proposal is submitted entirely via the funding and tenders portal. You can find it in a variety of ways. You can search it, you can do search funding and tenders and then find the call. You can use a direct link that I've added at the end of my slide set. So plenty of ways to find the right call. It has 2 parts. A part A, which is application forms, administrative data, if you will, and I'll show you what those look like. And the part B is actually the core of your proposal. This is what you aim to do in your research, and I'll spend some time on that as well. So, but keep it in mind, 2 parts to proposal submission. Now, this is a very critical aspect. When you start drafting your proposal, we have templates and guidance available, but make sure that you are using the correct template for the call. So if you're applying to 2025 call, make sure that the template is for 2025. Because if you use a template from another action or another call year, you might not be answering the right kind of questions or have the right kind of structure. So make sure before you start working that you're using the correct template. Now, part A, what I said about the administrative data. We want you to add here, of course, an acronym and a title for the project so that we can identify what we are working on. You also have to select here a scientific area, which is the best fit for the proposal. We have 8 areas, so ranging from economics over physics to social sciences and with a detour past engineering, if you will. So choose the best fit for your proposal here. And then this is a very, very critical aspect. You have to select descriptors, keywords that really show what your proposal is about in descending order of relevance. The first three are mandatory. So make sure that when you prepare a proposal, you can choose, and you have chosen 3 descriptors, 3 keywords. Why? Because we are going to use those to assign experts to your proposal to evaluate your proposal. So these are very critical first indicators about what a proposal is about. Take some care filling those out. Out of these 3 that are mandatory, the first 2 are going to have to come from the keyword, the scientific area that you've selected. The third one can be from any of the 8 scientific panels or areas. And the last 2, the optional ones, can of course come from anywhere as well. Of course, it's possible that you can't really find what you're looking for in the descriptors for MSCA, then also add keywords yourself, optional. But again, making sure that the official MSCA descriptors are also filled out. And then, of course, we ask for you to write an abstract about 2,000 characters to explain what the proposal is going to be about. Then we also need from you some information about yourself. So personal details, name, an email address, the PhD award date or the date of the defense. And if that was over 8 years ago, the form will also prompt you to complete a table with extensions to that period. We also would like to know countries of residence for the past 5 years to check eligibility. When it comes to the beneficiary, we need to have the so-called participant information code, the PIC of the main beneficiary. This is not something that you can find yourself as a researcher. Your proposed host organization knows what this is. Always be in touch with them to ask. And in case of a global fellowship, you will need to add a PIC for the outgoing host as well. For non-academic placements, the same thing. We need to have the PIC. But if it's only a regular secondment, that is no PIC needed, you will just discuss it in the part B. This is critical because we see a lot of mistakes coming in from this. It's not making your proposal ineligible in any way, it just complicates things. So better take care filling it out than have issues afterwards. In the same part A, we also request some information on publications, previous projects, infrastructure of the host, whether there is a gender equality plan in place, and of course an ethics self-assessment, for which we have prepared very detailed guidance, and that is available online at the link in my slide set here. Now onto the proposal part B, the core of the proposal. 2 parts to that as well, a part B1 and a part B2. They're uploaded as separate files, so take care when you upload it. The part B1 is the technical description of the work that you plan to undertake. And this has a very strict limit of 10 pages. If you have any more pages than that, they are just blanked out and nobody can see what was in it. And that includes, for instance, a cover page. So when we say 10 pages and you were to put a cover page followed by 10 pages, that's 11 pages, if you understand what I mean. So it's a very strict limit. The first 10 pages are counted for your proposal. Minimum font size, 11 points, standard spacing, single line spacing minimum. And that applies throughout the proposal. Now, to facilitate this, we have, of course, a Part B template available on the call page, so that you don't have to worry too much about the font size and the spacing. You can use our template, and that should be simplifying your life tremendously. So following the template is recommended here. Part B2 follows, and that doesn't have a formal page limit. There are some recommendations in the template, but as we are, for instance, talking about the CV of you as a researcher, well, we aim for it to be 5 pages, but can't force to have 5 pages. Some people will have much more, some people will have a bit less. So there is no page limit on that. Try to keep it reasonable, but don't feel bound by anything. Put in what is relevant. That's the important part here. We also request a table to be filled out for capacity of the organizations that will participate, so we know who we are going to be dealing with. And in the case of global fellowships, we request a letter of commitment. We also have a template example available for that. But again, letter of commitment only applicable for global fellowships. If you want to do a European fellowship, you have no need for this letter of commitment part. Now, a few things, common errors in proposals. What do we see that is causing issues in evaluation is missing the call deadline. So if that's missed, you can't come back from that. It's a very strict call deadline. It closes at 5 p.m. and that is it. What we also see is submitting under the wrong type of action. So European and global have a different structure and request different information. So it's important to submit under the right type of action. We also see some mix-ups with host organization, third country host. If you look at the guidance, they should also simplify the understanding of what is what. Other issues that we see relate to eligibility requirements, or like I said, exceeding the page limit or missing some documents. And I probably should have made this a little bit bigger, but at the bottom left, you say, click here for a useful resource. That is going to take you to a very detailed guidance that REA has prepared on how to avoid such common errors. So it's a very recommended resource. Take a look. And the things that we put in there are coming from experience. So when we see that our applicants are struggling with a certain topic, we put it in there. So this is a very, very useful resource, and it should allow your proposal to sail through without any formal issues to it. Okay. Now, as promised, I'm also going to talk a little bit about our evaluation process to try to convey what that means. We do have a very large scale evaluation. And when I say large, I mean large. In general, it's about 10,000 proposals that are submitted. We have standard peer review applied. So at minimum, 3 experts will look at your proposal, sometimes more than 3. It's bottom up, so anything will be allowed research-wise. And to accommodate that, we have experts from all disciplines as well. Because if we want to do a proper peer review, we do need experts in the field. So we collect all disciplines and all experts to properly assess your proposal. Experts are, of course, balanced. We make sure that there is a mix of experience, nationality, gender, age, sector, to ensure that the evaluation is fair and complete. As indicated, it's 8 scientific panels, and we have single-stage evaluation. So everything is to be submitted in the same package by call deadline. We will not request additional information afterwards. This is also a very important slide. This is about the evaluation and award criteria. So you see the focus is very much on excellence, because this is where postdoctoral fellowships are placed in the excellence pillar. This will weigh 50% of the total score. When you write your proposal, it's intended that you cover these 4 aspects in very, very high detail as well. We also have an impact section and an implementation section that cover the remaining half of the score. So this is your reference point. When you write your proposal, always make sure that it addresses very specifically 4 questions in excellence, 3 in impact, and 2 in implementation. So print this off and have a very close look at this. Sorry, don't print. Have it on your screen. You have to think about the environment as well. So the process itself, allocation of proposals to experts based on, as I said, the descriptors, keywords, and the abstract. We get 3 experts together. They each write an individual evaluation report. So they all will read your proposal. 3 people will read it. They will make up their mind about what it's worth. And then they get together in a consensus discussion, talk about it, and draft a consensus report. And that is what you will receive in February next year, will be the combined opinion of at minimum 3 experts. So rest assured that it's not one expert only that will assess your proposal. It's 3 people at minimum that will have looked at it, read it, and assessed it. Then we rank our proposals by scientific panel and action. So a proposal in economics will not compete with a proposal in engineering. We separate them out to ensure fairness in that as well. And of course, we have them separate for European and global fellowship. If your proposal is awarded more than 85%, you will in any case get a seal of excellence. And I think I've already talked about the resubmission restriction. So if you were to unfortunately score below 70%, you have to wait 1 year before you can resubmit the proposal. And of course, we have a standard evaluation review procedure in place called redress, where if you find that the evaluation outcome contains factual or procedural errors, you can file a redress. It's not a rebuttal, okay? It's really discussing about the legality or factual errors of an assessment. Again, quick overview of the call planning. As I indicated, call postponed slightly, opening in May, early May, and call deadline 10th of September. And the outcomes will be made available in February 2026. Now, we always aim to be as fast as possible, but count on February 2026. This is a very, very important slide as well. This is resources and guidance for our 2025 call. So the link to the call is on the first place, Funding and Tenders portal, our link. We also have a website, a webpage on from the REA with essential resources for applicants, so a guide for applicants, this common mistakes submissions guide that I discussed. We also offer a self-assessment tool and guidelines on how to properly calculate this 8 years of research experience. And we also have templates, other guidelines used by experts. So please go and have a look at our page as well. Of course, you can always refer to the work program itself, the program guide. And at the bottom, you see also a few other points is the research inquiry service, where you can contact people with questions. And of course, the national contact points who have organized this session. If you get stuck, they are very happy to assist you with questions. And they have a lot of very well done resources and guidance as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to them too. Now, I'm almost done, I promise. A few very quick slides about how Belgium does. You see there is always a very, very good chunk of proposals submitted by Belgian host organizations. And I have to say, overall, they do very, very well. The success rate is in general just that little bit higher than the average for the postdoctoral fellowship. So I have to say we do a good job in our universities here to attract and to offer these fellowships. And as you can see, we are also very balanced in Belgium about what we offer. We have proposals and projects in all 8 scientific areas. It's not the same for all countries, but here we do have expertise and grounds in all the domains.